Hirap naman, 'di ko pa rin ma-gets lesson sa OOP. Ano ka kasi yuan. Oh, pre, napatawag ka? Pre, nahihirapan ako dito sa OOP natin, eh. Baka may ma-recommend ka nga diyang video lesson na puwede kong panoorin para madali akong matuto.
Gano'n ba? Sige pre, may ise-send ako sa computer mo. Bigay ko sa'yo yung link, panoorin mo na lang,
O sige pre, thank you, thank you.
Hirap ka na bang matuto sa OOP Java Programming? Pwes, ito na ang video para sa'yo. Para isa ka nang maging programmer. First, let us understand what is OOP. OOP is a way of programming that focuses on objects. An object like combines data, like color, size, or name. Methods, actions that work with the data. These objects are created from a class, which acts like a blueprint. OOP is built on four key principles. First is encapsulation, which protect data inside the class. Second is inheritance, reusing and extending code. Third is polymorphism, a method or one method behaving in different ways. And lastly, abstraction, which hiding complexity and showing only what matters. Before we dive further into this concept, let us use an analogy first to better understand the idea of OOP. Class as a blueprint. Think of a blueprint for a house. The blueprint defines what a house looks like how many rooms it has, the colors of walls, or the types of doors. But remember, a blueprint itself is not a house. Next, object as a house. When we actually build a house using that blueprint, that real physical house is an object. Each house may be different. John's house may have blue walls, while Alice's house may have red walls. They both come from the same blueprint, but have their own unique details. So in programming, class is equivalent to a template. And second, object is equivalent to an actual instance. Now that we know what OOP means, why is OOP important in 2025? Because modern applications, like enterprise system, mobile apps, cloud services, and AI tools are large and complex. OOP makes them more modular, reusable, maintainable, and scalable. In short, OOP in Java helps us organize code like real-world objects, making software more reliable and future-ready.
Next, let us differentiate procedural programming and object-oriented programming. For procedural programming, program is organized into functions or procedures, focuses on step-by-step instructions to manipulate data. Data and functions are separate. For example, here are the steps to build a house. While OOP, program is organized into classes and objects, focuses on real-world modeling by combining data and behavior. Data and methods are bundled together inside the objects. For example, here's a house blueprint. Build actual houses from it. Let us look at these two examples. In the procedural approach, we have variables like color and rooms, and the function showHouse that takes these values as arguments. The focus here is on writing procedures or functions that act on data, but the data and behavior are separate. In OOP approach, we group the data and the behavior together inside the class called house. The color and rooms become properties of the class, and the method showHouse belongs to the object itself. This way, the data and the behavior are bundled together, making the code more organized and easier to manage. So, the key difference is that procedural programming separates data from functions, but OOP combines them inside objects. Now that we know the difference between the two, let us look at the advantage of OOP. First is encapsulation. Data is safer inside objects. Second, reusability. We can reuse classes across projects. Third is maintainability. Easier to update without breaking everything. And lastly, scalability. Supports big enterprise level applications.
Now, we will be explaining three basic concepts of OOP: the encapsulation, the inheritance, and the polymorphism. Let's start with the encapsulation. Encapsulation means bundling data and methods into a single unit while keeping the internal details hidden. In Java, we achieve this by making variables private and controlling access using public methods, often called getters and setters. For example, in our code, the balance variable is private. This means no one outside the class can directly change it. Instead, we provide methods like deposit and get balance to safely interact with the balance. This ensures data security because users cannot directly manipulate or corrupt the balance. They can only use the methods we provide. In short, encapsulation protects data, control access, and makes our code safer and easier to maintain. Next, let's talk about inheritance. Inheritance allows one class to reuse the properties and behaviors of another class. We call this an is-a relationship. In our example, the class dog extends to animal class. This means dog inherit the eat method from animal, but dog also has its own method bark. So when we create a dog object, it can both eat like an animal and bark like a dog. The big advantage of inheritance is code reusability. We don't need to rewrite the eat method for every animal. We just define it once in the parent class, and all the child classes can use it. In short, inheritance makes our code more organized, avoid duplication, and help us build a multi-level relationship between classes.
Finally, let's discuss polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms. In Java, it allows the same method to behave differently depending on the subject that uses it. In our example, we have a base class shape with a draw method. The subclasses circle and square each override draw with their own versions. When we create objects S1 and S2 as shape references but assign them to circle and square, calling draw produces different results. One draws a circle, another draws a square. This shows dynamic method dispatch where Java decides at runtime which method to call. The main advantage of polymorphism is flexibility. It allows us to write more general code while still supporting specific behaviors. In short, polymorphism makes code more adaptable, reusable, and powerful.
That concludes our discussion on basic OOP concepts and its advantage compared to procedural programming, highlighting how this approach shaped the way we design and structure our programs. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.